Mr. Lurk,
Here.
Mr. Hogan,
Here.
Ms. Lurkins,
Here.
Mr. Hack,
Here.
Ms. Turner.
Here.
Mr. Sweeney
Here.
and Ms. Hall Batali.
I have 8 commissioners present. We have a quorum. Next is the approval of the October 28th, 2025 minutes. Can I get a motion and a second?
So move.
Thank you.
Second,
Thank you very much. Gus. All those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. On to public comment. This is the only opportunity for members of the public to speak about anything that is not the subject of a public hearing. Okay. Moving on to public hearings. Can I get
Alan Bassett's here.
Thank you.
a little late, but we'll let you in.
I'm in. I was here early.
Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for project PC 2025-31, Enclave at Lonedale subdivision, a preliminary plat?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now open. Ms. Hall Batali, you're up.
Hello, good evening. This is project PC 2025-31, Enclave at Lonedale subdivision preliminary plat, a request from Igor Gusev of Hennigan and Associates on behalf of Hardy Built LLC for a residential subdivision preliminary plat located at 2162 Lonedale Road as allowed within the chapter 410 subdivision as provided in the Arnold Land Use Ordinance. Here is the location of the Enclave preliminary plat. It consists of 2 parcels located along Lonedale Road, northeast of Deborah Lane. To date, the Planning Commission reviewed the initial sketch plan, and after a few renditions and coordination with the city, fire district, and the applicant, the city approved the rezoning of the property from R3 to R4 residential district. The applicant tonight is proceeding with the next step, which is the subdivision procedures, the preliminary plat, and public hearing. The zoning is R4 resident district. To the north is R3, east and west also R3. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. Directly south is mobile home park. The future land use is suburban neighborhood. Here you see the plat layout. The request is for an approval of the preliminary plat subdividing the existing 2 lots into 12 single-family residentials. The single-family dwellings are permitted by right in the R4 district, which requires a minimum lot area of 10,000 square feet. The subdivision regulations outline the construction of homes within this district, and as part of a subdivision, requires the preparation of improvement plans and permit documents with staff. The plans address the code mandatory infrastructure design, including streets, sidewalks, grading, stormwater management, and all the required easements. Sanitary sewer and utility design must also be included and comply with building code, health, and fire codes. This layout was reviewed and is consistent with public work requirements and the Rock Community Fire District requirements. Subdivision improvements, some items of note. I don't want to get too technical here, but I want to give you kind of a general perspective of what goes into improvement plans and the design that is staff review. The grading and stormwater plan is shown on the plat. This is also a grading plan. The lines that are a light blue, they indicate the stormwater pipes, and also there's shaded areas of detention, and also a level spreader. So at any point, the lines, they capture the stormwater lines, the pipes, capture, they take it in an inlet, all the stormwater that flows through the system. It goes through the detention. Also, there is ditch flow that is shown, ditch and swale flow. It's shown as the squiggly green lines. That is also directed adequately to the stormwater pipes, the detention basin, and the level spreader basin. The typical lot here is shown. It meets the minimum lot area of 10,000 square feet. Some of the lots have more area. The variable width of the lot is dependent on the size of each lot. The minimum setback is met 25 foot from the front, 8 foot from the sides, and 15 from the rear. The typical roadway section is shown here is 26-foot wide concrete streets with curb and gutter section. It's within a 40-foot right-of-way and includes 4-foot wide sidewalks on both sides of the street. Staff findings based on the analysis of the subdivision ordinance policy. The preliminary plat supports the orderly, planned, efficient, and economical development of the city of Arnold. The land to be subdivided as shown is of such character that it can be used safely for building purposes. The proposed public improvements conform to and are properly related to the proposals shown in the comprehensive plan, the capital improvements plan, zoning, and applicable building standards. Staff recommends favorable consideration to be reported to City Council for the preliminary plat, subject to the staff's analysis and report, conditions, and ordinances identifying. The land shall not have a final record plat approval until public facilities and improvements are accounted for and proper provisions made for drainage, water, sewage, and capital improvements. The developer shall make contribution to the sidewalk bond to cover the costs of said required sidewalks along Tenbrook Road. And the street Ambassador Circle, the public sidewalk shall interconnect with those on Londell Road. That concludes my staff report. The applicant team is here, Igor Youssef with Hennigan and Andrew Sophia with the agent.
Does the commission have any questions for staff? We visited this before earlier, didn't we?
Yes, you were, you saw them at the sketch plat and also with the rezoning.
This is the storm water.
Yes, that's why I detailed those kind of, that kind of design questions.
Under conditions, you only listed 3. You didn't put the extra 3 on there that you usually do. That normally apply to.
Do you know he's?
Hey, Phil, speaking to pull your mic up so we can hear you.
Okay, is that better?
If you'll
So-
speak toward it, yes.
So just to clarify, this is a preliminary plat. It's not a conditional use permit, so we're not applying our boilerplate conditional use permit conditions. So the 3 conditions here are essentially things that we're asking for from the applicant as they move forward with record plat.
Okay. I just noticed there's 3 of them missing that usually show up.
Ms. Holt.
Go ahead, Ms. Bliss.
In our report, it talks about the hydraulic analysis will be done to evaluate capacity. Just kind of curious, do we have that report?
No, that's done as. Sorry, no, that's done as part of the improvement plat
Okay,
plans. Sorry, the improvement plans that are reviewed after the approval of this.
thank you.
I had a question.
Go ahead.
Ms. Vitale was just looking at some of the attachments, the letter from like the fire district and stuff. Have all those conditions been met? The fire district, American Water, Missouri?
Yes,
et cetera?
yes.
Okay, that was my main question. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Go ahead, Ms. Crowther.
Well, again, as we all talked about, my main concerns are, it's going to be the stormwater. That's going to be my big deal here. And also, before I forget, Christie, I'd like to request when we see it again because we'll see the improvement plans, right?
No, that is staff review and permitting.
Right.
You'll see it at record plat.
Okay. I would like to make sure we have full set of plans so we can look at the,
When I get the plans and do the review,
Right.
I'll be glad to give you a call and let you know. But the improvement plans aren't something that come
No, I
before
mean,
the
for
planning
when we go
commission.
to do the final, so when we go to do the final. Yeah, the record
Okay.
plat, when we go to see the final record plat, I'd like to see, because used to, we always had a full set of plans here, and I know we kind of dropped off from
Yeah.
that for a long time.
At the record plat, all the improvements will be constructed already, just so you know. 'Cause
Okay.
that's part of the improvement plan process.
Oh,
We
okay.
do, staff reviews all the engineering of it and issues permits for those improvements.
Okay, yeah, I know, because I've been on here quite a while, so I know used to, we reviewed those before it came on, and I know we passed that on to mainly staff, but I didn't,
Right.
okay. So you don't, so they haven't even submitted those?
No, not yet.
Yeah,
The step has to be approved before they do any kind of improvement plans.
okay. All right, well, that's fine then. I just wanted to make sure, because my concern was, from here is where the water is going to be captured on 5, 6, 7, and 8, since it's below the detention basin, and there's no detention basin below those lots.
Right.
I was just wondering, we need to make sure that that as much water can be, I don't know what the grading looks like, because I really can't tell off of these on the, when I try and blow it up on my iPad, I can't see the actual, it's really hard to see the elevation markers on here to see where it's going to be sloped, because really
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8, to me, if any way possible, the slope would be best if they can get it in toward the detention
So-
area and not just let it all.
So
freeze.
the lay of the land does not drain towards the detention for those lots.
Right, it's all going to
And
flow
if you have,
back.
if I was going to say, if you have detailed question like that, the engineer is here. He can
Okay.
field some questions
Okay,
as well.
all right,
But part of it will not be flowing directly to the detention. That's part of the design. There's a certain amount of water that they're capturing from offsite. And so they're allowed to let some of the other drainage
oh, okay.
Bypass.
Okay, that's what I was going to,
bypass. So
That
it
was-
doesn't necessarily go into the detention
Right.
basin from those
Okay.
areas, but they have captured.
okay, that was
additional
going to be
from
my other
offsite.
question on there, because I saw that you had that inlet up on Londell. Is that what that is?
Oh, yeah, they're capturing along Lundell. They're connecting into.
Right, so all that water
cities.
that would normally be coming
Yeah.
down, sheet flowing down there, they're
It's not
capturing it
doing
up
that.
there, so that's gonna reduce that amount of the, okay. I was gonna ask that, because again, that's out of the norm, usually you don't see, I've never seen that design with any of the other older, subdivisions coming in, that they're actually capturing water, off-site water. I mean, usually that just never.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Right,
Yep.
yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Okay, so that'll alleviate it. I guess the only other thing that I would like to see, if possible, would be then all of the other front lots, if you can, to get the, maybe if there's any way to get the drains from the roofs, to go more towards the street, so it can be captured ahead of time, before it gets, I don't know if it's going to be possible or not, but again, that, that mitigates more, more sheet flow is what we're trying to get away from.
So typically, the way the drainage is, like the front half of the house
Mhm.
drains towards the front and to the
Okay.
street.
Yeah,
I can't say for sure that the
Oh,
back
yeah.
house will, but that's typical drainage.
Yeah.
That house is set up above the street substantially and
Yeah.
it drains
Okay.
towards the street.
again, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there for the developer to try and keep that in the mind as much as you can, to get as much as we can, to get into that flow, especially since, like I say, you got 4 of the bigger lots on there that isn't really going to be in there. So just, I mean, the more that we can keep in there is the better. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Is the applicant present and do they wish to make a presentation at this time? Please state your name and address for the record.
Igor Gusev, Hennigan and Associates, address 1929 Richardson Road. I'm here to answer any of the questions that you might have.
I think I have mine already.
Anything else?
Anybody?
And regarding the grading that you mentioned, so it kind of depends on the topography of the lot itself.
Oh, yeah.
Some lots are flat, some are walkouts. As you can see, lots 8 through 12 will be walkouts. So on those lots, obviously, most of the back of the house is almost from the front of the house. Everything's gonna be draining back. But on the northern lots, 1 through 7, those lots will be flat. So on those flats, that's where the drainage will kind of split off, and some will go in the back, some will go towards the streets.
Yeah, I mean, that was my point, like,
Right.
like 11, 12, I mean, 9 through 12, if you can get anything on that front, I mean, the more you can get off of the
The
front. half
fronts,
going
yeah, the
into-
usual the
right.
fronts
Oh, yeah.
towards us.
I know you can't capture it all, but
Right.
the more you can get to the front to get in there, that's just that much more flow that you're not gonna have to,
Correct.
you're gonna worry about later. So,
Yep.
yeah, that was the only.
But yeah, the goal will be in our calculations, that's what we're doing right now, is basically to retain as much water as we can. In fact, in our calculations, we show right now is a reduction of water coming out of the property as post conditions. So, which meets the city codes. So
Okay.
I think we're on track.
Any other commissioners have questions for him? Okay. Do any members of the public have questions or comments on this application? Be advised that this is your only time to speak regarding this request. Yes.
Bill Moritz, 3167 Theodore. I really wasn't planning to talk, but I did notice the condition that was going to be up there about the contributing to the sidewalk fund on Ten Brook rather than here. Why is that? Does the road not come out there? I saw the sidewalk comes up to Lonedale, but does it go
So
left and right?
the sidewalks are part of the
Sidewalks would be on Butch's side of the road, right?
the sidewalks are part of that Public Works project.
Understand?
So instead of creating sidewalks that aren't
To nowhere?
continuous and contiguous to those improvements that are on Londell,
Okay.
staff is recommending that they contribute to a dollar amount to the sidewalk fund that'll go directly towards our match with that Public Works project
The one on Ten Brook.
on
Oh,
Londell.
well, the condition said Ten Brook.
It did say.
It did?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was
Number two.
confused.
I'm sorry.
Well,
That's what got me up here, Christie. Okay.
You
Okay.
catching the scriber there.
It's been a little while since I've been on the planning commission, so I had a question, so.
Oh.
Thank,
Oops.
thank you all.
Yeah. Was it like that?
Anything else,
that night?
Oscar? Yes, sir. Again, please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Kevin Betzer. I live at 1729 Deborah Lane. I'm talking about the Hardy build right there on Lonedell. The main thing I'm concerned about is the water runoff. Right now, our backyard and that already floods from all the water running off there. And if you look at that design, Deborah Lane is already getting flooded out by that property. The main road is basically getting washed out already, and that's coming down. And then I'm at the house before the last one down there on the side, and there's a water pipe that runs across the road and goes through probably to Pommy maybe. But that water pipe ain't capable of holding 14 homes or 12 homes in there, where it's all gonna run off into we're the lowest part there on that property. Everything from that project is gonna pour in between them two homes and that land going across. And if you examined the water piping already on that Deborah Road, they're not even connected. The pipes ain't even connected from when they put it in. So with all this more water, it's got nowhere to go. It's gonna flood out. It's gonna flood out that whole area down there, is my main concern about the project. Living there, I don't know, that water basin and that's all, I don't know how that's gonna work, because the road is lower than that ever could be. They would have to dig 40 feet in the ground for water to sit in a basin there. I don't see how that's gonna help our property with all their runoff coming down, especially, it's tapered. It's almost like it's almost like a domed area, you know, the center is low and all around it's higher up. Well, like I said, Deborah, and them homes down there are lower than that. And the amount of runoff that comes through there already is incredible. And that's what I'm worried about as far as that project goes. I think water is gonna be a major issue for us. Being the lowest part of, you know, of the ground there. I don't know how they could, I don't know how they could do anything without redoing the lines going all the way out to Palmy. I don't see how it would be feasible. That's my concern.
Does the commission have any questions for him?
Yeah, just see my side of it.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Project. Feel that we're on the bottom of that, so.
Which house?
Miss-
1729 to the left. Right to the left of it, yep. Right there. And then Posey's, which was there forever, they're even lower than us, but the water already runs through it washes that road out. It comes through and washes that whole road
This
out.
room?
The one that's right in the middle. of us.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And where the green is coming down from the top, that whole road is washed out from that land from coming over Lone Dell. It's washed it's been a problem for years. And if they build homes, all that water is just gonna keep pouring down our road. It's gonna wash our land completely out.
I'll respond to something. I'll respond.
Christie has a couple things to add.
So, staff is aware of that situation. And it's something that I've brought to, the developer's attention, as far as downstream issues. And the hydraulic analysis will be done for those downstream, pipes to make sure that they're adequate in capacity and condition. And the developer has said that they, will, for offsite improvements, if there's any easements or those improvements, they could go forth and I'm not saying that they'll take care of it, but they'll get what they need to do as far as easements or such, or it wouldn't be able to happen. If it doesn't have the capacity and if it's not a condition to accept it, it's not an acceptable discharge point.
Where do these ponds, where are they proposed to outflow right now?
Right now, that I'd say that light blue blob
Yeah,
right there.
okay, that's where everything outflows.
Mr. Williams?
Civil engineer, right? Okay. You listened to what he said.
I did.
Do you have any concerns about what he just described could happen?
So what the topography of the land is basically comes to valley to the bottom. The blob that Christy was talking about, basically that's the lowest point, and that's the obvious location where the water will discharge from the property. That's what it's doing right now. As far as the water coming down, sheet flowing from lots 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, that water will be intercepted by the swale system. Therefore, it's not going to be discharging onto the Deborah Lane, protecting the Deborah Lane, so that we can berm off essentially Deborah Lane so that no more water's getting onto the street. And it will be
Currently, it just goes over. Deborah.
currently goes over, yeah, just goes onto the Deborah. So that will be caught by swale and then directed towards a level splitter. As far as the detention, so the way the detention is going to be built is going to be built in two parts. It's called a nested detention. So it'll be part detention, part bioretention, meaning that the bioretention will be catching a typical rain events, small rain events that you see almost on a daily basis, which is 15-year, 20-minute storms, if you want to get technical. And the water will be caught there, and it'll basically rise without discharging, and then next couple of days, it'll be slowly percolating through the ground and then slowly discharging if it has any overflow through that. So in a sense, we're going to be, typical rain events, we're going to be trying to detain that water, actually retain the water for a number of days before it's discharged. Therefore, helping with the typical storm events that go through the piping very fast,
Improving the current condition.
improving the current conditions. And then the bigger storms obviously will go through a detention stage where they're going to be, detention will be filling up and then releasing slower.
Mr. McArthur.
Yeah, that's going to be, that was more of my question that was going to come up, and I think you might have just answered it. I know it's marked detention, and usually when we think about a normal detention, it doesn't hold it for very long.
That's correct.
Yeah, it holds it to cut down on the, less than the natural flow. But I think in this case, I think I liked what you said, because I would like to see it retain, maybe not retain forever, like an actual retention, like they have at, at some of the basins, but at least, yeah, I like that idea of retaining it for a couple of days at the most. And then that way it's really going to cut down on what he was, the gentleman was talking about, because yes, that's where the flow comes out, but it's going to come out instead of coming out right away on the sheet flow. It's going to be released over days amounts, which is going to really reduce that.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So in the middle of that detention pond, it's, you
Right.
can put a lot of words in
Yeah,
there.
right,
But it's a nested detention, so that basically first 18 inches of water is going to be standing there for a couple of days,
Okay.
percolating through the ground slowly,
Right.
rather than shooting through the pipes.
So it almost needs a kind of a hyphen detention / retention where,
Correct. And that's going to be shown in the details of
Yeah.
of the improvement plan.
Yeah, okay. Because like I say, I know a lot of people don't understand that, but like I say, I've been doing this so long, I get what those are, and that's what I like, that you said, because like I say, normally, when you call it detention basin, like I say, it just holds it for a few hours and it drains out and it's gone for the rest of the time and dries out, but,
Correct.
so you're going to have almost a dual, I like that.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any other questions or discussion?
No.
The commission will consider this application during executive session. And I get a motion and a second to close the public hearing. PC 2025-31.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Those, all those in favor?
Aye.
Close. Hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion and a second to open the public hearing for project PC 2025-33, Walmart seasonal storage conditional use permit?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Buss.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Closed. Hearing is now open. Ms. Turner.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a CUP request from Walmart to allow for currently in place seasonal storage. The Arnold Walmart is, of course, on the south side of Michigan Avenue within the Water Tower Place development. On the zoning map, the site and surrounding areas are all zoned to C3 commercial. Most surrounding properties are used commercially as well, with the exception of Immaculate Conception, Holy Child to the south. On the future land use map, the site is shown as commercial with an interstate interchange commercial node. I've got tongue twisters, I'm sorry. So here is a bird's eye view of the Arnold Walmart. There are 32 small red rectangles on this map designating the approximate location of seasonal storage that was based on a site visit from staff. It alters slightly from the submitted site plans, so we're essentially using this as the existing site plan. The most visible area of storage is in this section circled in yellow. Here are some photos taken from the parking lot as well as Michigan sidewalks. Both local and corporate Walmart representatives, as well as city staff, have worked together for many years on achieving compliance, sometimes with mixed results. This conditional use permit request is to seek formal zoning approval for Walmart's seasonal storage that is currently in place for this holiday season. The following slides are a summary of analysis of the 4 conditional use permit criteria. Criteria 1, the request's consistency with good planning practice. Generally, using shipping containers as storage is prohibited, but the code does make an exception for seasonal inventory strain on retailers, allowing for seasonal storage. It is allowed in C commercial districts, provided that the proper permits are obtained. Additionally, for temporary storage that is in place for longer than 31 days, a conditional use permit is required. Therefore, Walmart needs a conditional use permit for this. Compliant seasonal storage is consistent with the C3 commercial district regulations and Arnold's comprehensive plan. Criteria 2, that the operation of the conditional use not be detrimental to the district and surrounding area. Staff routed the plans out to reviewing agencies, including Public Works and the Fire Marshal, and did not receive any comments of note. The city, let's see. The city has regulations for seasonal storage, and this applicant meets most of those requirements with 2 notable exceptions. First, the containers are not supposed to be located in internal driving aisles, parking areas, and fire lanes. There are containers blocking entire parking aisles as shown, or at least portions of those aisles. And some containers are on the curb in fire lanes, which if the fire marshal reviewed and didn't mind, isn't exactly our jurisdiction, but it is still our regulations. Second, the containers are supposed to be kept in good condition and not have rusted or peeling paint. Most of the containers on site have some areas of rust, like what is pictured here. This is a particularly bad one, that orange one. And to be clear, these are site photos from the Arnold Walmart taken in the last 2 weeks. You can see the pile of snow there. Staff recommends a number of conditions, including that this Walmart does what it can to improve the condition of the containers for the remainder of the holiday season, which they have already started to remove some as they are working through their temporary seasonal inventory. The applicant has stated that their goal is to have all the containers removed by January 31st, 2026. So that is what we would hold them to. Another recommended condition of approval would be to clarify that this approval only covers the remainder of this holiday season, and that future approvals will need to be obtained prior to the placement of containers. Criteria 3, visual compatibility with the area. Some of the containers on site were in really good condition and even complementary to the building, such as the off-white ones in this photo. If all the containers were similar to these, it would absolutely be visually compatible with the area and other retailers, subject to future compliance. And finally, criteria 4, that the conditional use be essential or desirable. Frankly, it is essential for Walmart's operations during the season, the holiday seasons, to have this additional inventory space. And Walmart is Arnold's largest retailer and sales tax generator. So allowing Walmart to have the flexibility for their increased storage needs is an essential and desirable addition to the city, of course, subject to compliance with our regulations and in the conditions of this approval or recommended approval. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of Walmart's seasonal storage CUP with the following conditions. 1, that the storage follow the attached plans. 2, that the CUP only approves storage for this plan for this holiday season, 2025 to 2026. 3, for this season, containers with rusted peeling paint need to be fixed up to the best of Walmart's ability for the remainder of the season. I have been informed both earlier today and just this evening that Walmart is already removing some of these trailers. So this condition can be met with the immediate removal of essentially the worst containers and leaving those that are in better condition. 4, all the containers, of course, must be removed by the end of January. 5, that all future requests be made in advance of the placement of trailers and that all future storage needs meet code. And then conditions 6 through 8 are the city's boilerplate standard conditions. That concludes the staff's report. A representative from Walmart is here to answer any questions if you have them.
Does the commission have any questions for staff?
Does Walmart do this every season?
Yes, they do.
All right, I don't remember seeing this in the past years, so maybe I haven't been here on those meetings.
There has been mixed results with compliance,
Okay.
and a lot of it comes down to different representatives at Walmart and dynamic staff availability. Like I said, I think everyone has gone into this with the best of intentions. We're trying to put our best foot forward on getting compliance on this.
Mr. MacArthur?
Yeah, this has been going on quite a few years. And like Sarah said, normally it goes off pretty good. I don't know how to really you know, like I say, because the problem is the store changes managers, they change, as Sarah said, they kind of change the people that do there. And, you know, it's something that, again, it is our biggest, um, provider in sales here, sales generator. So, we really, I mean, it's never been a problem to, I think it's something that's needed. We want to keep them here and it's something needed, but I like where we're going on here and it really needs to be made, very strongly on here, like you're doing that, they need to come in for the permits prior. Okay, I get it, we do it every year, and so that's fine. Just come in a little bit early. It's got to be there. And I agree with you, the areas they're putting those in is not in a industrial area. The things need to be in halfway decent shape. I mean, the pictures that you have here are just horrible. People drive by those all day long. I have no problem usually where they store them because the stores are, in those areas on there, and it is on the back side, but you still have a lot of people that use that other entrance. So I really like the conditions that you have on there. And I don't know if there's a way, like you say, to maybe put it on our calendar, that, since it looks like they've had it since, what was it, September, they moved it in September 19th. So maybe put it on our calendar and in September to have somebody reach out to whoever the Walmart representative is that year and lay this law down on here that, hey, we appreciate you being here. We want to work with you. We know you need these storage containers. We're fine with it. You've been doing it for a lot of years without a lot of problems. But here's the things that you need to do to be a good community, representative and lay those things out. Like I said, I really like how you did. I mean, we don't expect them to be perfectly painted, but like you say, I mean, they still need to be in halfway decent shape because they are in an area where people can see. It's not like they're behind the building, behind trees and things to where nobody can see them. They are very visible. They're not in a bad spot. So yeah, I think that might kind of help and let them know, hey, September 1st, if you're moving in September, you need to get all this done. And here's the conditions that we want to see. And like I say, I think those maybe just kind of produce those conditions that you have here look really well and just kind of give them those. And so like I say, I think a little bit of pre-planning on our part will help this out because it's definitely something that needs to be done. So,
I agree, and that's something that
Yeah.
we can incorporate into
Yeah.
our staff procedures.
mhm.
Question. If we come up with a good plan for seasonal storage and we've got these conditions, why do we need to revisit it every year? Like if they don't comply with the conditions year over year, then why don't we get one plan that everybody's comfortable with and say, here's the plan every season, right?
And that is actually something that I was going to bring up during staff announcements, but I'll go ahead and
Okay.
do that now. So, due to this application, we have kind of been talking internally about changing the way that this is done. And so, for instance, we require a conditional use permit. And it does also, to an extent, depend on if Walmart changes their site plan every year, then it is something that we need to take a look at. But then the question might be, is that something that is more suitable for administrative approval versus, spending the time to come in front of you all at a public hearing?
Right.
But that would require an ordinance update. So that's something that we're going to look at internally. And so we might end up coming to you with a zoning amendment to revise that code so that it's easier for Walmart and other retailers to get the flexible storage that they need while also still meeting our codes.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Just an idea.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
idea. Yep.
Sarah, this is another thing I was thinking, because I do drive by those containers every day. And on the side where I believe is it the auto
Mhm.
center?
Yep.
Would Walmart be willing to put in some greenery there on the hill as you drive through? I think Kohl's is on your left at that point, because they will be putting those containers in every single
Every
year to shield some of the view. That might help with, if the containers do not all look like the building, that might help.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we can consider. So in part of researching for this, I know that I've seen other locations where they just have full on like privacy fencing put up during the time when these storage containers are up. And it can be kind of mixed results just because it can be just a big block of black fencing. But we can definitely look into other cities that have gone a more landscaping route for screening, especially if Walmart has a dedicated, this is where our trailers will be, or containers will be every single year. Then we can look at, working with them on screening solutions.
Or after looking at that big picture, the one that has them all across there, maybe even just some temporary screening, because again, they don't have to access the back of those containers. They only have to access the front of the containers. So along Michigan there, if they would just have, like some type of, I don't know, some type of, even a cloth, just anything, just throwing the ideas out there. Something that would screen that, again, like you say, that wouldn't be intrusive or expensive for them, but yet kind of clean it up a little bit is all.
So over time, it's evolved. So the nice looking containers that are at the back that she had pointed out, that are kind of an ivory looking. In the past, it was row after row of nice looking containers. And
Okay.
they weren't multicolor and they weren't rusted. And really just the consistency and being in good condition, that alone is it's not nuisance at all.
Right.
So, yes, of course, we can look at, having them provide additional screening or additional landscaping. But honestly, with the consistency of a well-made container, consistent color, and in good condition, it really isn't
Maybe
visually
in there on
obtrusive.
on your pre-plan to them, that if you're not going to take the time to make the containers it look halfway decent, then we're going to make you screen them. Maybe that might, it'd be a lot cheaper for them to make sure, whatever storage containers they're using, and let them use these old ones in some Walmart that's more screened. Like I say, maybe down in an area that's not really. These need to have a little bit more special treatment because, as Sarah said, people look at them every day, so they need to be a little bit more picky, or they can screen them, one of the two. That would be my proposal for it.
Any other questions? Comments? Is the applicant present and they wish to
Oh,
make?
I think she,
I just had a thought. Would the city need to look at the containers in the future before they're placed so that if there was one that didn't conform to the conditions, that you would have it removed before it's placed? Is that something that you might contemplate?
It's a little tough because our regulations, even the ones that we currently have, state that the containers need to be in good condition with no rusted or peeling paint. That said, it is incredibly hard for us to make sure that is met until the container is in place. I guess I frankly, I can't think of a way that we would be able to enforce that, of having, containers in good condition prior to their placement beyond just coordinating with,
At the time of
representative.
delivery is what I
Coordination,
was
but-
thinking, but so that the city is inspecting them before they're allowed to be placed.
Mhm.
If there's no screening or if there isn't a path to screening, I would think that once they're placed, then what does the city do? Because right now, if there's a whole bunch of rusted containers right now, what action do you have currently? What can you do?
So at least what we've done in the past is we try to coordinate with the local on-site, like the store manager or something, and let them know like, hey, these containers are not in good shape. You need to do something about it. And we understand that from, the Walmart staff's point of view, it can be difficult to fix that situation. And the best way that we can manage it is just coordinating with them before they get placed. That's really kind of the best way that we can manage the situation.
And I guess to add on to Sarah's question, if we have these conditions and then they're not met, then what? What's the remedy?
We have the conditions now, right?
Yeah.
So they're not met. What actions can the city take to mitigate that other than wait until January 31st when they're picked up and ask them nicely?
Basically, it would be the next year when they apply for their conditional use permit, don't allow it. That's what it comes down. I'm not saying
I
that
mean,
we do that.
in-
And I would hope that Bob would say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, in theory, if they don't comply, we could make them remove that container. I mean, the question is, how much staff time do you want to put into that? And how much enforcement do you want with regard to Walmart in terms of its relationship to the city? But as you know, with your conditional use permits, if the applicant doesn't meet those conditions, then the use permit can be revoked. But I imagine it would be a pretty serious action in the middle of the holiday season to require Walmart to remove those containers. But that's what our stick is in terms of our authority. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess that's the concern though. We're here at December the 9th. The containers have been on site since September. And we're talking about it 3 months later.
Yeah,
right?
it's wrong. I mean, it's wrong
Yeah,
that this
you're
is
right.
that it waited this long. I mean,
That's why I
it's
thought
it
maybe
is-
we could, if we're looking at figure 1 or, figure 2 or figure 3, and if we're all good with one of those figures, here's the plan going forward. If you don't follow this plan, then there'll be we need some remedies, right?
Yeah, and I think the idea of an administrative approach that you and Sarah were kind of discussing is a better sort of long-term approach, except for, as Sarah indicated, if the geography changes, that
Right.
sort of changes everything.
Right.
One of the issues, or one of the ways to address this, at least in theory, is that you have a repeat applicant. And if that applicant continues to not live up to its obligations under the conditional use permit, at some point, it would be appropriate to say no. I don't know that 2025, 26 holiday season is the time to do that on December 9th or whatever we're at, but it does seem a little, I mean, ridiculous might be too strong of a word, but it is problematic that an institution that does this every year, the size that they are, can't get it right. And they should. And whether they have to screen it or do something more robust is something that I think really should be explored, because your remedies are draconian. And I think the applicant needs to understand that. Like, at some point, is there going to be a moment in time where the staff and the administration and the legislators, the council say, yeah, pull the ticket, shut them down, padlock them, because that's what we could do. And I mean, that's, like I said, that's draconian.
Yeah, I would hate for it to come to that, but we obviously have 15 years worth of history.
Yeah.
If they developed in 09, right? Is my math right? 15, 16 years of history. So if it's a repeat issue, then it seems like the best remedy would be more landscaping along Michigan Avenue, like from a screening perspective.
Right. And I think while that would normally be maybe considered asking too much from the municipality, as you mentioned, Justin, I mean, like, we've got a decade and a half of
Right.
less than stellar performance. Well, now maybe you need to, step up and do something that's a little more than we normally would ask, because there's a pretty long history. And I would feel comfortable from a legal perspective to say, we've given you a lot of rope, with regard to this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No, thanks.
Is the applicant present, and do they wish to make a presentation? Again, please state your name and address for the public record.
Jessica Duncan.
Pull it down to you, hon.
Sorry, Jessica Duncan, 2201 Michigan Avenue, Walmart. So I do just want to say that the trailers that we get, the containers that we do get, they are from a third party. We go through Motor Services this year is who we went through. And I'm in contact with the owner of the shipping containers throughout the year, quite honestly. I don't think that it would be far beyond anything to request the good containers per se. I don't think that that would be a problem at all for us to do, because I do understand the backside of it and what that looks like. He does deal with all the Walmarts in our area. I think he has contracts with almost every single Walmart in the St. Louis area. So I do think that I could definitely work with him on that. Also, with the landscaping on the backside of it, we just went through something with our home office on having to get rid of some of the landscaping due to security issues and not being able to see on the other side of stuff. Like if I'm standing in the parking lot and somebody's standing on the other side of a tree line of some sort, that they could be in hiding of some sort for the safety and security of the parking lot. So I don't know if getting the landscaping would be something that we could keep permanently. I do think the screening behind it would be something that we could do for the season. I just came back to the store this January, so I was not around for the last several years of what the trailers looked like on the parking lot. I do know that this is like the most that we have had these last couple years on the parking lot. So we used to just contain them on the side by automotive in our bulk line drive-through and in the back of the building and over by online grocery. Well, now that online grocery takes up all of that space, we kind of had to move everything out. So do you guys have any questions for me?
No. I think just the biggest thing, like I say, if you can coordinate early with them and let your third party know that I'm sure there's a lot of areas in other Walmarts that aren't on a main street like that.
Yeah.
And let's use those containers for that area. And let's bring the good containers here to, aren't at least for sure the ones that are going to be,
Right.
put out there. So now I'm assuming they just drop the empty containers off and then you guys fill them up through the year, or is
Yes,
those
we
come in?
fill them up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I started talking to him, I think in June of last
Probably.
year,
I was
of
gonna
this
say,
year.
if you're placing them September, I'm sure it's June.
Yeah, so we started talking to him fairly early in the year.
Yeah, so maybe if you get something, because I know sometimes you change managers and things, but I mean, they need to kind of get it in their protocol that, to call this, and say, hey, we need to have the good, expect them to be brand new, shiny, painty, but I mean, they need to be rust free and like they were saying on
I
there. So,
completely understand.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on board with
Yeah.
that.
Right. Yep.
And if
Okay.
we have the conditions, at least you can provide the conditions to them and say, here's what we have to meet at this location.
Right.
Yep.
And I don't know, he doesn't want to lose our business either.
Yeah.
So, I agree.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? Good.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Do any members of the public have questions or comments on this application? Be advised that this will be your only time to speak regarding this request. No, okay. Commission will consider this application during executive session. Can I get a motion and a second to close the public hearing for PC 2025-33?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lord. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is now closed. Can I get a motion and a second to open the public hearing for project PC 2025-30-35, Merrimack Dermatology Clinic Expansion Conditional Use Permit?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bus.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is now open. Ms. Turner, you're up again.
No, actually, it's me. I'm up again.
I'm sorry, it says Ms. Turner, so
It's okay. Christy held the tally.
tag you in the minute.
This is a request by Jesse Howell on behalf of Merrimack Dermatology for an amended conditional use permit to allow for an expansion to the clinic at 3787 Vogel Road within the C3 Commercial District as provided in the Arnold zoning ordinance. Here's the location site. It's the south side of Vogel Road, west of Target and Home Depot. It's the end cap of the Strip Commercial Center. The zoning district is C3. To the north is C3 as well, and partially R4. To the east is C3, and to the west and south is unincorporated Jefferson County. Future land use, it is commercial on the outskirts of a commercial node. Here's a summary of the criteria that for the analysis of the conditional use permit. Criteria number 1, consistent with good planning practice. The dermatology clinic improves the quality of life for specialized skin care, which is consistent with the district and the current operations as well. Criteria number 2, operations not detrimental to the district. There are no concerns of note by any of the review agencies, as well as in the past, it is a current location. There hasn't been any complaints or negative impacts of the current business operations. Criteria number 3, visual compatibility. The photo here shows the existing location is in the solid red line, and the expansion will be in the dotted. There's no changes to the exterior. The sign will remain the same, and the attractive exterior is consistent with the area. Essentialness and desirability. The clinic will continue to provide a Mohs practice treatment to treat skin cancer and provide dermatology practices per the clinical laboratory and OSHA standards, which are considered essential and desirable for the city to promote public health. With that, staff recommends the CUP approval subject to the 5 conditions. The dermatology shall be established and operated according to the attached plans. Activities and operations associated with the use shall be limited to the outpatient services, and overnight stays are not allowed. And the 3 last are the boilerplates that we use for all conditional use permits for revocation if needed. And that concludes my staff report. And the applicant is here as well tonight.
Does the commission have any questions for staff?
No question other than just missing the margarita that I used to get served there. I think this business does really well, and I have no concerns.
Anybody else? The applicant present, and do they wish to make his presentation? No? Do any members of the public have questions or comments on this application? Be advised that this will be your only time to speak regarding this request. No? Okay, commission will consider this application during executive session. Can I get a motion and a second to close the public hearing for PC 2025-35?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is now closed. We have a standing item for the comprehensive plan update that will not be discussed tonight. As there are no other items to discuss in the regular session, can I get a motion and a second to close the regular session and move into executive session?
So moved.
Reminder,
Excuse me.
neither the applicants nor the public will be able to speak during this portion of the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Buss.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in executive session. New business, can I get a motion and a second to favorably recommend PC 2025-31 Enclave at Lawndale preliminary plat to the city council as presented by staff with the conditions?
Findings and conditions. The findings and conditions.
So moved.
Ms. Buss?
Second.
Mr. Lord, thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Mr. Secretary, you can call the roll vote, please.
Mr. Bess,
No.
Mr. MacArthur,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Buss, yes. Mr. Lurk,
Yes.
Mr. Hogan,
Yes.
Ms. Lurkins,
Yes.
and Mr. Hack.
Yes.
Seven in favor and one against, the motion carries. Can I get a motion in a second to favorably recommend PC 2025-33, Walmart seasonal storage conditional use permit to the city council as presented by staff with the conditions?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Lurkins.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lurk. Is there any discussion? Mr. Secretary, please call roll vote.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. MacArthur,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bus, yes. Mr. Lurk,
Yes.
Mr. Hogan,
Yes.
Ms. Lurkins,
Yes.
and Mr. Hack.
Yes.
The affirmative vote, the motion carries. Can I get a motion in a second to favorably recommend PC 2025-35, Merrimack Dermatology Expansion Conditional Use Permit to the city council as presented by the staff with the conditions?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Lurks.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lurkin. Is there any discussion? Secretary, please call roll.
Mr. Best,
Yes.
Mr. MacArthur,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Bus, yes. Mr. Lurk,
Yes.
Mr. Hogan,
Yes.
Ms. Lurkins,
Yes.
and Mr. Hack.
Yes.
And again, an 8 affirmative, the motion carried. Moving on to department report, Ms. Turner.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So of course, a warm welcome to our newest planning commissioner, Sean Hack. We're very glad to have him here. Of course, I already touched on the possible draft amendment that may come to you in the future regarding seasonal storage. At the end of the packet, you all might have noticed a copy of the 2026 Planning Commission calendar for next year, of course. Feel free to double check it if you see any typos, but otherwise keep that on hand for the next year's worth of meetings. And for that first meeting in 2026, we have 2 applications, the postponed gas station conditional use permit and another clinic conditional use permit. And of course, there is no second meeting in December. So from everyone on staff, we wish you all a happy holidays and a happy new year.
Okay.
Great.
Next is council liaisons report, Councilman MacArthur.
Not a whole lot. I know we did have a great, Christmas at the park. Saturday, it was a really good time, well attended, so that was really nice. I see that they have broken ground on the, expansion there for the, for the school there. So, I mean, that looks good. The only thing I did want to mention on that, is, please keep in consideration that we did put the condition that they work on the runoff going over towards, the subdivision across there. I'd like to see something at least, I know that has to be done right away, but they need to kind of start thinking about what they're going to do, whether they take that piping underground, put it into the,
They have it, they do have piping for part of it.
okay,
And they're improving the swale and the ditch section as well.
okay. I'm mainly talking about, up front, on the front side, where the exit. Remember, because we talked about
Oh,
that
okay.
because the residents are having a lot of problem across over in St.
You're
John's
talking about
Crossing.
Long St. John's.
Yeah,
Okay, and
Yeah,
that's where I'm talking
yeah.
about. Yeah,
okay,
that's where I'm talking about.
okay,
It's just not installed yet.
okay,
It's part of the development plan.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that that was moving
I
forward.
thought you were talking Jeffco when you said the front.
No,
I was
no.
confused by what you were saying.
No, I kind of meant where the cars go through
Yes.
the middle of their,
Definitely.
on there, not back on the new development, but on the current development there, yeah. Yep, just want to make sure that was staying moving forward, because that's gonna,
Yes.
I mean, that's gonna be an issue on there. And just wish everybody happy holidays. And that's it.
Do members of the commission have any announcements? All right, second, Mr. Hanson's, recommendation for everybody to have a good Christmas and New Year, since we will not be seeing each other for the year. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
You are adjourned.